Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's change of command ceremony where Lieutenant Colonel Kurt Haasey will relinquish command of the 621st Mobility Sport Operations Squadron to Lieutenant Colonel Jay Weaver. I am Captain Scott Ellison, your Master of Ceremonies for today. Please note that throughout today's ceremony, proper social distancing measures in line with CDC, public health, and installation guidance will be followed. Throughout military history, soldiers in the field often could not identify their own commanders. Recognizing this problem, the Continental Army of the United States conducted the first official change of command ceremony. Today, just as in the past, the formal change of command allows airmen to witness the actual transfer of command between two officers and see their new commander firsthand. The change of command also adds color and pageantry to military life through the transfer of the symbolic unit guidon, while preserving tradition and stimulating esprit de corps. Shortly, while adhering to social distancing guidelines, the 621st Mobility Sport Operations Squadron guidon will be passed from Lieutenant Colonel Kurt Haasey to Lieutenant Colonel Jay Weaver, signifying the official change of command. Throughout today's ceremony, you will be given various cues to stand and be seated. As a reminder, military members will display all proper customs and courtesies, and civilian guests should place their right hand over their heart during the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem by Captain Trish Thomas and the invocation by Chaplain Lamar Reese.
If it is your custom, I invite you to pray with me. O Lord our God, as we gather to witness Lieutenant Colonel Kurt A. Haasey relinquish command of the 621st Mobility Support Operations Squadron, and Lieutenant Colonel Jay Weaver take command, we pause to give thanks, O Lord, for all of these men and women here present today. People who hear the clarion call to leadership in battle and answer as one ready to lead the charge. Thank you for Colonel Haasey's leadership, friendship, and mentorship. Great challenges lie behind us that Colonel Haasey has taken us through, both at home station and downrange. Many more are before us. So we ask your blessings, Lord, for Colonel Haasey, Megan, Hannah, Abigail, and Isaac as they depart. May they know your strength and guidance which has taken them thus this far. Will continue, and that you will be with them in their future endeavors. Protect them, O Lord, in their travels. Lord, for Colonel Weaver, Kelly, Jack, and Kinley, you have prepared them for this day and this leg of their journey and have prepared this path for their undertaking. Bless the fruit of their labor and leadership in this squadron and this wing. Leverage their gifts to our benefit and their success. Thank you for the support of loving parents such as John and Robin. Lord, may we each find the courage to lead from the front. May we all be found faithful stewards and defenders of freedom. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Thomas and Chaplain Reese and Captain Thomas. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. At this time, please join me in recognizing our official party and honored guests in attendance today. Please hold your applause until all attendees are recognized. Our presiding officer and the commander, 621st Air Mobility Advisory Group, Colonel Philip Morrison. The commander, 621st Mobility Support Operations Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Kurt Haasey and his wife Megan, their daughter Hannah. Our incoming commander, Lieutenant Colonel Jay Weaver, his wife Kelly, their daughter Kinley, and their son Jack. His in-laws, John and Robin Kowalski. The commander, 621st Contingency Response Wing, Colonel Douglas Jackson. The vice commander, 621st Contingency Response Wing, Colonel Kyle Benowitz. The command chief, 621st Contingency Response Wing, Chief Master Sergeant Tony Jenkins. The commander, 621st Contingency Response Group, Colonel Gregory Cyrus. The superintendent, 621st Air Mobility Advisory Group, Chief Master Sergeant Matthew Collinridge. We are also privileged today to have with us commanders and senior enlisted leaders representing the vast array of units that call Joint Base McGuire-Dick Lakehurst home. We also welcome all honorary commanders and special guests of the 621st Mobility Support Operations Squadron joining us in person and virtually. Thank you all for attending. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Morrison.
Good morning, everyone. I appreciate that we had kind of a last-minute change. We went from an outdoor ceremony over at GRDC and came over here, but as we all know, flexibility is the key to air power. So I appreciate you all being flexible and coming in here, although I'll be honest with you, I think it's going to be a little more comfortable in here with air conditioning anyway. So hopefully that'll make it a lot better. But I'm glad you were all able to make it. First off, how about a big round of applause for Major Callow and his team who put this on, and obviously last minute figured out how to make this all happen. Also, I'd like to thank Captain Ellison, Chaplain Reese, and Captain Thomas for that outstanding national anthem. This is obviously a very special day for the Haaseys and the Weavers, but this is also a very important day for all of the men and women of the 621 MSOS. Today, the 621 MSOS is bidding farewell to one great leader and recognizing another great leader, one of their own, as they watch him being elevated to the top leadership position of the squadron as their new commander. I want to welcome Colonel Jackson, Chief Jenkins, Colonel Benowitz, Colonel Cyrus, and Chief Collinridge, as well as all the other commanders and chiefs in the audience. It's wonderful to have you all here today. Richard and Patricia Haasey, thank you for raising such an incredible leader. I understand you're watching this today. As our Kurt siblings, you all have reason to be very proud of all of his many accomplishments. Megan, Kurt tells me that 3 years ago that you agreed that you would move anywhere except McGuire Air Force Base. But what you didn't realize is all the way out in San Antonio, the Air Force Personnel Center heard you. And I imagine an assignment officer just grinned and kind of laughed. You know, the way only assignment officers know how. And poof, guess who got orders to McGuire? It's actually an exceedingly efficient process, and I've never seen it to fail.
But Kurt told me that you made a resolve, the way only Air Force wives know how, and you made the best of it. In fact, you bested that assignment officer and absolutely loved living here at McGuire. So congratulations on getting the best of the Personnel Center. But more importantly, thank you for being such a positive person. Not only for your husband and your family, but for all of the folks in the squadron. All the folks that you wrapped your arms around and embraced over the course of your time here. Hannah, I see you hiding over there. So you're quite the veteran Air Force kid, 7 years old, and you're getting ready to make your 4th PCS move, right? Your 4th base. But I also hear that to reward you for your dedication and service to your nation, that your parents had bestowed you with a very special title while you were here at McGuire. That special title of Big Sister, right? Not only once, but twice. So, if it's all right with you, on your behalf, I would like to also say hello to Abigail and Isaac, who are watching from home today, and say hello. Does that sound good to you? I know you take this job very seriously, being a big sister, as you should. It's a very important job. And I think it goes without saying that while Colonel Haasey wore the uniform and led the squadron, the entire Haasey family was behind the scenes, working and sacrificing for the men and women of the 61 AMSOS. There is no doubt in my mind you all gave 100% to this unit. And wow, what a team we have coming up behind the Haaseys as well. Jack and Patty Weaver, I know you must be bursting with pride because you know just how hard Jay has worked to get up on this stage today, so he can take command of an Air Force squadron. Thank you for joining us online, along with Jay's younger sister, Leilani. I also want to extend a special welcome to Colonel Weaver's in-laws, to John and Robin, who I think had to step out. Thank you for joining us today. Jack, I know how proud you are of your dad. We all are. But you know what? He's really proud of you as well. He was telling me that you are a dinosaur expert. That you're like a walking dinosaur encyclopedia. And that you have been working very, very hard to teach your little sister, Kinley, everything you know about dinosaurs, even when she doesn't want to listen. I think that is awesome. I think this is also a good opportunity for me to point something out about Jay. So Jay is a planner. So much so that he saw this whole thing with the schools closing coming. He saw this way out over 8 years ago. And like any good officer, he developed a plan. That plan was he was going to marry a wonderful woman, of course, but she also had to be a kindergarten teacher, and they were going to time the birth of their first child so he would be rolling into kindergarten right around the time the pandemic got going. So he could get personalized one-on-one instruction. Well, that wonderful woman, of course, is Kelly. And she has made Jay's prophecy come true, setting up mommy school in the house. And I know she's been working very hard at that. She told me before that she just pulled all the stuff out of that. I got everything all ready to go. Kelly, I know the kindness, compassion, and of course patience of a kindergarten teacher has served you very well as an Air Force spouse, it's even more in demand as the spouse of a squadron commander. Thank you in advance for the sacrifice you've signed up for and for lending us your husband. I know you will continue to give Jay the love and support that will be critical during his tenure in command. I want to share something with everyone in the audience. This is something I noticed. I realized when I was sitting in staff meeting the other day, talking with all my squadron commanders, John, James, Jesse, Justin, and Kurt. And it occurred to me, I was completely surrounded with C-17 pilots. But there was something else that was a little off. So I'm thinking, John, James, Jesse, Justin, and Kurt. Like, call sign Cinco, that doesn't work either. So that's when I came to the conclusion, Kurt, that you had to go. I could not have one squadron commander in the AMAG whose name did not start with the letter J. And that's when I came, and that's when I decided, you know what? I'm going to make a little call over to AFPC, Air Force Personnel Center. I bet you didn't know you could do that, Megan, did you? Yeah. So I called over and I said, hey, I've got this big problem. Can you help me out? And I found this very helpful assignment officer, and he likes Scotch. And he said, sure, I can help you with that. So I said, I need another J. And he took me quite literally, by the way. And he gave me a J. So now I have John, James, Jesse, Justin, and Jay. So all the alliteration is perfect, and all is well with the world. But I'm still surrounded by C-17 pilots. So, next time you're ready for a PCS, Megan, I can give you his number. He likes 18-year-old Glenn Fittich, just in case, But in all seriousness, folks, Colonel Haasey, when you move to Scott, I know you're going to be continue to be an advocate for the AMLOs and Eagles. Just the way you've been a great advocate for the enterprise while you were here. We need you to educate the staff and the leadership of AMC on the importance of this critical work. This work that ties the Air Force to our ground component sister services. I know you're going to do this, though, because the type of dedication that you have shown to all of your folks here doesn't go away just because you pass the guide on. You've thrown your heart and soul into the MSOS. Everyone in your unit knew that you genuinely cared about them, and they would speak glowingly about you. Kurt, you definitely leave big shoes to fill, but we have the perfect leader for the job. Jay, you will be the first commander of the MSOS that has previously served as an operational AMLO. And I know that means a lot to a lot of the folks in the audience here. He is an extremely thoughtful, deliberate leadership style with great focus and attention to detail. By the way, he came armed with little tabs to put on everyone's notes today. I just wanted to point that out. He was ready. Talk about organized and on task. But not only that, he is a team player who knows what it takes to prepare and care for the men and women of the 621 MSOS. I know Colonel Haasey is sad leaving this squadron, but I also know that he couldn't hope for a better successor who will continue the tradition of caring for the MSOS. Colonel Haasey and Megan, you have left a phenomenal legacy in the 621 MSOS and will be greatly missed by everyone here. Congratulations on an outstanding command tour. Jay, Kelly, welcome to command. You're the right team to lead this organization and will no doubt take it to even higher heights. I know you're going to absolutely crush it. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Morrison. At this time, please stand for the medal presentation. Attention to orders. This is to certify that the Meritorious Service Medal has been awarded to Lieutenant Colonel Haasey. Lieutenant Colonel Haasey distinguished himself in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as Commander, 621st Mobility Support Operations Squadron, 621st Mobility Advisory Group, 621st Contingency Response Wing, Joint Base McGuire-Dix, Lakehurst, New Jersey. During this period, Colonel Haasey's steadfast leadership enhanced the operational effectiveness of combat forces across the globe. As the third commander of Air Mobility Command's Joint Alliance Squadron, Colonel Haasey's innovative approach yielded decisive gains through the employment of expeditionary air-ground liaison elements. In concert with the unit's Air Mobility Liaison Officer cadre, this teaming concept earned instant credibility with joint airlift users and secured national objectives by accelerating the 40% drawdown of forces in Afghanistan and propelling the first immediate response force launched in over 30 years. Moreover, he drove lasting capability gains by championing 2 initial qualification course redesigns. The improved baseline operator training and joint planning focus enhanced the liaisons network's lethality and developed joint-minded airmen. Finally, Colonel Haasey relentlessly pursued leadership development, securing consecutive Airlift Tanker Association seminar leads for his unit's combat exploits that likewise garnered the Wing's 2018 Contingency Response Unit of the Year and Air Mobility Command's 2019 Company Grade Officer of the Year. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Colonel Haasey reflect great credit upon himself and the United States Air Force. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commander, 621st Mobility Support Operations Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Kurt Haasey.
All right. Well, thank you, Colonel Morrison, for your words today. Knowing we've just had a couple weeks together, you have already immersed yourself in the mission and the people of the MSOS, and to you as well, Chief Collins. Thank you for what I know you're going to do for our squadron, for our airmen. Colonel Cook, if you're watching again, thank you for enabling your commanders to lead, pushing us to integrate our capabilities across the wing and across joint coalition boundaries as well. Colonel Jackson, been a distinct honor and pleasure to serve with you under your leadership again. Chief Jenkins, likewise, thank you for taking the time to come today. Colonel Benowitz, welcome back to the CRW. I hope you're pleasantly surprised with what the 621 MSOS has morphed into since you've been gone. Captain Thomas, Chaplain Reese, thank you very much for supporting us with your respective voices today. My first sergeants that are in the room or online, Sergeant Overturf and Salas, you truly are selfless servants, and I'm grateful for your counsel. Senior Sullivan, Jay, we got Colonel Cyrus as a late ad. Thank you, sir, for coming today. I appreciate the integration that you brought across the groups. Senior Sullivan, Jay, this unit definitely demand our best effort every day, and I think we can go to bed tonight knowing we aim for that. Thank you for being such tremendous teammates. I'll take both of you to war with me any day. To the previous MSOS commanders, existing AMAG commanders. John, thanks for coming out today. CRW Expeditionary Center, AMC leaders that have supported me personally, and the MSOS Airmen, thank you. To the Weaver family, great to see you here again today, and thank you for sharing this with us. To my parents, Richard and Patricia, tuning in from Wisconsin, thank you for your persistent love and support. I'll call more often starting tomorrow. To my wife Megan, we arrived at McGuire, able to double team our lovely daughter Hannah. Now as we leave, we're forced to play an exhausting zone defense on 3 children. Now you're like, what zone defense? You have to have 2 people to play zone defense. Right? So words can't express how grateful I am for the grace you've shown me and the generosity you've bestowed on many an AMLO that has been welcomed at our home as they pass through JVMDL. So thank you and I love you. Now, MSOS Nation, you're the reason we're assembled here today. It's hard enough to get this squadron together and to do it in the midst of COVID while your families are back home. It really does mean a lot to me personally to have you here, and thank you. I wish I could have got to know them more intimately. 2 years ago, we were at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, executing just the second change of command in this unit's history, and I invoked a reference from what is known as the most successful failed mission in military history. It's Operation Eagle Claw. It was filled with tragedy, but also the birthplace of capabilities we take for granted today: night vision goggles, with in-flight, unprepared runway operations. It gave birth to some of the most storied military units that would use that failure to inspire a culture that would not stop changing to meet the needs of the nation. The story concludes with 2 British airmen. After the crash, they walked over to the American compound with 2 cases of beer and a note inscribed on the top that said, "To you all, from us all, for having the guts to try." MSOS Nation, you've had the guts to try. Thanks for having the guts to oftentimes be the only uniform in a room with a different service tape on it, bearing the brunt of sister service jabs and stereotypes, and then standing up in front of a joint officer, two ranks your senior, and telling him his airplane is set for failure and here's how to do it better. With all due respect, of course. You've had the guts to lead distributed teams and flights across 20 locations to conduct our unit business way before COVID forced us to embrace it. You do that without complaining about how hard it is. You've had the guts to attend Army NCO Academy, build credibility and bonds with young soldiers, and know you didn't get any formal credit for it. You've had the guts to integrate the global affiliation program, the network from the bottom up at the squadron level. You did that, and then you had the guts to hand that work you did to the Expeditionary Center to execute while you realigned your capabilities to an even more pressing point of need. Yes, everyone in this room knows the eagle has left the nest. You immediately had the guts to deploy to Afghanistan without any special training and just some mission type orders that said, go solve air mobility issues at remote FOBs. You did. And then you had the guts to show up at the doorstep of Fort Bragg on New Year's Day without any guidance other than, if you don't get here fast, we're not going to be able to launch the RF out of the cargo yard. You did that too for the first time in 30 years. You tackled the rigors of basic airborne course, Pathfinder, Hazmat, operational planning courses, none of which are required by regulation, but are most definitely are demanded by our charge to become credible joint leaders. You're persistently deployed to the front lines of our longest conflict, have the guts to monitor, sustain, and control austere airfields in the most remote areas of Iraq and Syria without much fanfare, ensuring mobility airmen can support national objectives. You come under rocket attacks, you've responded to naval life-saving aid, you've literally been the last U.S. boots on the ground in hostile areas to ensure air mobility command forces can succeed, and that's all in the last year. Even more importantly, I've witnessed you having the guts to engage each other at the deepest level. Unit members, friends, colleagues who needed an ear or a hand with a personal or professional struggle. These relationships are the currency of our organization now and forevermore. Quick story to highlight that. I'm in New York with the 44th Medical Brigade, and the commander, she walks over to me early on. She sees I'm wearing my AMLO patch one day. Colonel Aiello, oh, hey, AMLO, I know one of your guys. Fantastic guy, she says. Hey, we were out in the middle of Nevada, and day after day, he would walk into the jock, and he'd say, hey, sorry, ma'am, the C-130 is not going to be making it today. Yeah, Reno Guard. She's like, Colonel Aiello, we gave him so much heck, but he always came back with a smile on his face. And one day, when I was about to lose it, he comes to me and says, ma'am, the aircraft isn't coming in today, but I brought you a pizza. Hands her a pizza, the 06. So she shows me her phone after we went through and cycled through a bunch of ammos, and there's a picture of her and Tommy Layden grinning ear to ear in the middle of Sierra Nevada Depot, freezing their butts off. That embodies the spirit that must be the hallmark of our organization. Keep fighting, MSOS to build a culture within our unit and the joint force where we know each other and depend on each other. It's the only way we'll meet the demands of our nation's toughest needs. And I long to see the day when the MSOS global network is so synchronized and so in tune with each other that we only talk about ourselves as one operating location. That 621 MSOS, wherever you happen to log in that day. Jay, you're just the person keeping that in there.
The rendering of the last salute is quickly becoming an Air Force tradition and is appropriate during a change of command ceremony. Today, Lieutenant Colonel Matt Elmore and Senior Master Sergeant Jose Cruz will represent the service members of the 621st MSOS and render a salute in place to show respect and recognition to Lieutenant Colonel Kurt Haasey through the commander's last salute. Please stand for the change of command ceremony. Attention to orders. Under the provision of Air Force Instruction 51-509 and Special Order Number GO20-0023, Lieutenant Colonel Kurt Haasey relinquishes command of the 621st Mobility Support Operations Squadron to Lieutenant Colonel Jay Weaver, effective 24 July 2020. Signed, Colonel Philip Morrison, Commander, 621st Air Mobility Advisory Group.
Sir, I relinquish command.
Sir, I assume command.
Officers, post.
Please be seated. It is my honor to introduce the Commander, 621st Mobility Support Operations Squadron, Lieutenant Colonel Jay Weaver.
Seco is fond of saying there's no crying in football, and he is right. I thought for sure you're going to cry today, so here's your dollar bill, laminated, of course, because of COVID. Credible, integrated, joint leaders. That's the vision of the MSOS, and that vision could not be realized without the leaders sitting here in the front row and on this stage. Colonel Jackson, Colonel Benowitz, Chief Jenkins, Colonel Cyrus, Chief Collingridge, thank you for your steadfast leadership and your guiding hand. Even when it's tough, you make it look easy. Colonel Morrison, sir, I already have enjoyed our time together and look forward to serving under your leadership. Captain Thomas, thank you for sharing your amazing gift. Truly a remarkable performance every time. Thank you. Chaplain Reese, thank you for your inspiring words, an example of humble servant leadership. Thank you so much to Major Callett, Master Sergeant Johnson, and the entire change of command team. As Colonel Morrison alluded to, flexibility is the key to air and I think space power, and you proved it today. To my beautiful wife Kelly and wonderful kids Jack and Kinley, thank you for your continued support and sacrifice. You make this ride fun and exciting, and I couldn't do it without you. I love you guys. John and Robin, thank you for being here today. It means a lot to me and Kelly and the kids. To my parents, Jack and Patty, Sister Leilani, and other family members and friends joining us out on the net today, thanks for your continued love and support. Cinco, the best wordsmith would be hard-pressed to put into words all that you've done for this squadron. Your passion and energy for the mission and the people was limitless. Some say command is a marathon, others say it's a sprint. Cinco sprinted his marathon. After all, he likes his ice cream and eat it too. Megan, you have given so much to the MSOS and expected nothing in return. You made your house a home, not just for your family, but for the many Avengers that passed through JBMDL. And I'm optimistic that at Scott, Kurt will be able to join you, Hannah, Abigail, and Isaac for dinner each day based on a standing off order that I'm sure you'll staff through AMC. And finally, to the men and women of the 621 MSOS, the Avengers. First as an AMLO, then as your DO, I got a front row seat to watch your remarkable accomplishments, and I'm honored and humbled to be your commander. Every member of the MSOS brings a wide range of talents and experiences to the team, and I'm proud of each and every one of you. From the mission partners, RFCOM, Supply, CSS, to the Eagles, to the AMLOs located at 20 GSUs across 14 different time zones, you are the ones that propel this squadron, that move the ball forward, that answer the call of others. Our squadron has come a long way in just 5 years, and there's still more work to be done. So let's go make some magic happen. Avengers 6, out.
At this time, Lieutenant Colonel Matt Elmore and Senior Master Sergeant Jose Cruz will represent the service members of the 621 MSOS and render a salute in place to show respect and recognition to Lieutenant Colonel Jay Weaver through the commander's first salute. Thank you, sir. The members of the 621st Mobility Sport Operations Squadron are delighted to have Lieutenant Colonel Weaver and his family join our Air Force family. We are also proud to have served with Lieutenant Colonel Haasey and wish him and his family good luck at Scott Air Force Base. Please stand for the playing of the Air Force song and remain standing for the departure of the official party.
We go into the wild blue yonder, flying high into the sun. Here they come, soon to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give her the gun, give her the gun. Down we dive, spouting our flames from under. Off with one hell of a roar. We live in fame, we're down in flame. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force.
Right face. Forward. Arc.
This concludes today's ceremonies. We ask that all 621st MSOS Squadron members please stick around for an official photo. Thank you all for attending.